Test, test, test. Yeah, tell me about it. Great fun. Let me text Charlie and see where Charlie is at. Just a minute. Hey, Taxi. How are you today? Kinda waiting on Charlie to join. Just kind of waiting on Charlie here, folks. He should be joining us. I guess text him. Yeah, there is a lot going on. A lot. Cali Pop. Yeah, it's been stormy here. Our internet just has really quit coming and going. Um, we've got a very big problem with the lines around here. They're dry and cracked, dry rotted basically. And when it rains, they get water down in them, the main lines of the poles, and it basically just kind of shorts everything out until the lines dry back out. So that's what we've been dealing with. The sun popped out earlier and really good and dried everything out, so everything's stabilized now. If you ask me, it's kind of ridiculous because as much money as we pay for internet up everybody up and down this road, there should be enough money every month to replace this line. It's ridiculous. But that's what we deal with. Our aging infrastructure. Also, folks, August of this month, there's a new alert out. Do not eat the. Let me see if I can find it here. Well, I guess I didn't share it. I thought I shared this. I've got some big news. Big, 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 big news. Let me get this pulled up here just a minute. Um, we've got Danish mechanized platoon has been diverted to Latvia. Um, Russia is moving a bunch of vessels into the Baltic area. Um, this is being moved, diverted to Latvia. This mechanized platoon. Um, what I was wanting to get into here just a minute. Let me go right here a second. She's got a good list. This is everything that Russia has moved into the Baltic Sea. We've got a destroyer, 2 frigates, 1, 6, 12, 15 corvettes, and 3 Kilo class submarines. And the little emblem outside is ships that has been moved from other fleets. So this is all it's coming, home user. We don't want to see that. And please don't spam my chat. Skymaster, I have not had internet all day. RetroSpark. So I didn't even know they was Skymasters going out. You don't have to be sorry. Just keep that remembered. If I see your message, I will answer you. And thank you. Oh. Yep, this is getting kind of concerning. In Baltics. Russia's moving all these destroyers, frigates, corvettes, and submarines, Kilo class submarines, big ones, big submarines, into the Baltics. Um, and now the heavily guarded ferry transport noted a few days ago was even more guarded. Besides known Danish frigate maritime patrols that was fighters, there were fighter jets and Swedish self-corvettes escorting it. A Danish mechanized platoon has been diverted to Latvia. We'll get close. They're moving forces now. NATO is now moving forces to the Baltics. What we need to look for now is hospitals and blood banks being moved around. I haven't seen that just yet. So keep an eye out for hospitals being put on alert. We did have some intel a while back that hospitals was doing some drills. I'll have to go back and pull all that up. And basically an exercise to be able to take care of wounded. Yep, Kali Pop, they did. Yep, they're older diesel electric subs in the 70s. The 206 there, let me pull this up, is a newer model. The 261, there was some information on the 261 here somewhere. And also, here is a video. This is the Russian Navy corvette and tanker entering the Baltic Sea and NATO's response. The orange and red there is the Russian stuff, and this around it is a response. That's the response that vessel saw when they came through Vidania Strait there. Now, I'm going to see a looking into this application that's being used here to have. It's called Fused VF that I'm seeing. It collects ship data and flight data. As you can see, all these little flights. There was some sub hunters and stuff up here around this stuff too. Um, you can see it there beginning. Get rid of the music. There'll be a flight right there, and then there'll be a flight right there. See it? And there was something out here for a second. There was something right there. So I'm looking into this system for us to have. Yes. So I am putting you all on alert for this movement. So if you find anything on forward deploying field hospitals and forward blood banks to areas, please sure to tell me. So Collie, Sitting Bear, Retro Spark especially, be on the lookout for me, please. And this right here is a huge indicator too. This really, really perked my interest. A Danish mechanized platoon has been diverted to Latvia. It's a lot of forces right there. And you just don't move this stuff for nothing. Now, if they was being done inside of Danish territory, I wouldn't be concerned. But these are Danish forces being forward deployed to the Baltics. Huge, huge news, and nobody is talking about it. Also, came out today. Chinese hackers have carried out their first autonomous AI, yes, you heard that right, AI, artificial intelligence cyber attack against a foreign government targeting Taiwan. Using open source AI agents, the attackers independently conducted reconnaissance, searched for vulnerabilities, and adapted tactics over 4 days in early July. They compromised 85 accounts, stole more than 2,500 employee records, expanded the attack to Taiwan's nuclear safety agency and energy companies. So they expanded the attack to Taiwan's nuclear safety agency and energy companies. They used a simplified Chinese communications points and to a PRC connection. Yep, Russia is. They are doing intel sweeps. Now, this forward deployment of this Danish mechanized platoon has got my interest perked, and it went to Latvia. Latvia is centered between Lithuania and Estonia. It's the middleman there. Where is Charlie at? Russian Navy is moving more firepower to the Baltic Sea. They're reinforcing the Baltic Sea area, both material and more guns, and by a show of force too. The Corvette SKR 461 with a tanker has passed the Great Belt into the Baltic Sea, flying a brand new battle flag. This thing passed the Danish Straits, flying a fresh battle flag. Folks, they're getting ready. You remember what happened before they started attacking Ukraine? They're, they started putting the old Russian battle flags on their tanks and other stuff. And now this Russian Navy corvette has just passed through the straits with a battle flag hanging from its flagpoles. And NATO has really upped the ISR flights in the Baltic area. We're getting close to this kicking off. Russia will attack NATO. I'm not saying they might. I'm saying they will. Russia will attack NATO. That way they can say NATO defeated us instead of Ukraine. Now, where is Charlie at? He's at the store. He'll be back shortly. Does anybody have any questions about what we just discussed? Well, Caroline Levitt, the White House press secretary, is jumping ship. And her excuse is that so she can spend more time with her young children and family. Trump says it's a decision that he can totally understand. She's jumping ship, folks. Um, Ukraine has hit 3 Russian warships in the port of Novorossiysk. Satellite imagery confirms damage to the frigates Admiral Markov and Admiral Estein. Somewhere around the missile launch tubes. A minesweeper, an approach patrol ship, and a reconnaissance vessel, and the experimental ship Victor something has also been damaged. In addition, S-300 radar systems, submarine base infrastructure, and several berths at the oil terminal has been damaged. Wow, Ukraine really put a hammer in on that one, didn't they? And Russia was firing air defense as fast as they could fire it, and everything got through. Now, this is very interesting. Russia has stockpiled 6,500 drones. Now, these are these big drones, the ones that's modeled off of the Iranian Shahed drone. They're saying they're going to use them for Ukraine. I think they're going to be used for the Baltics. Russia this year has set a new record for the numbers of drones launched. They've used over 6,500 units. See, folks, they normally launch about 150 to 200 at a time. And by them stockpiling over 6,000 of these things now, I think, I really do, that they're going to start diverting, they're going to start launching 400 to 500 things, 400 to 500 of these at a time. And they're going to start hitting the Baltics with half of them. Just the other day, we just saw a Russian drone fly all the way through Romania into Bulgaria and explode 100 meters from a pumping station for a critical pipeline. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Come on. Help me out here. Russia is now putting anti drone nets over its submarines in the Pacific. Interesting. Would Russia send drones into the gap from Belarus before the first wave? Yes. Yes. Yep. Retro Spark. It is a waiting game. And yes, Grayfon, the drones and missiles will go in first. Germany's government has approved a major overhaul of its intelligence agencies, granting them broad powers to conduct covert operations, including hacking and non lethal sabotage against foreign threats. The reforms would transform BND into a genuine secret services. Interesting. Also, Japan has started dumping U.S. debt, and the U.S. is having to. U.S. Treasury is having to print dollars to cover it up. After multiple failed joint U.S.-Japan interventions to save the yen, U.S. Secretary warned the Fed to expand its facility to Japan or watch the yen collapse and drag the U.S. Treasuries down with us. Besides, found a way to lend Japan U.S. dollars to dump it and buy yen without dumping the 1.4 trillion treasuries. If Japan sells the treasury holdings, it's a full-blown global liquidity crisis. But look like the irony, the U.S. Treasury is printing dollars to purchase U.S. Treasury bonds held by Japan. Effectively, Japan is selling its U.S. treasuries, while the U.S. is handling that sell-off by printing money and taking those bonds into its own books. Yep, yep. We're in a basically, yep, like you said right there, Retro. We're in a little waiting game. Yeah, what could possibly go on, Matt? Yes, like I've been telling you, we're going to go into a global Great Depression. We've got multiple currencies, Russians, the Koreans, Japanese. There's a few in Europe and China. And the United States is having major problems with their currencies. You take this many, a few of them is definitely going to fail. And that ripple effect from that few is going to drag everything else down with it. I mean, even the Bank of Japan has put out a little kind of covert statement says the measures being prepared by the Bank of Japan will affect the lives of billions of people. To the people of the Western countries, I offer our deepest apologies. This is not a personal matter. May God's blessings be upon you. And if you will look into a chart that is called Years in Which Panic Have Occurred and Will Occur Again, that little chart was made in 1875. And it has nailed everything that's happened in the past. The 30s, the 50s, the 70s, the 80s, 2009, and now 2026. 2043 is the next one. And then you have the 2019. Then you have the 1999, the 81 crash, the 65 crash, the 45 crash, and the 27 crash, which brought in the Great Depression of 1935. So 2026 as we go on into here. It's just a matter of time. Your next good time to buy stocks will be 2032. I bought a bunch in 2023, and I have over doubled my money in what I bought. The next time to buy it is in 2032. Then hold it to 35, and then get rid of it. But yeah, I can get you a link to the chart. There is a chart. There you go, folks. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. Well, we're abandoning Iraq. The U.S. is to fully withdraw from Iraq by the end of September. It is extremely obvious Iran is not only winning the war, but it's in full control of the future is it as well. Now we are withdrawn from Iraq by the end of September. Y'all check out this video. This is a how the Russians are defending their roadways. I would hate to be the person in these trucks behind this mobile air defense unit. I'd hate to be these people in this mobile air defense unit. Behind them, I meant. We've got a suspect in custody after two students have been wounded by a nug nug at Bewunder Robbins High School in Georgia. A sheriff has told Fox News. Ukrainian drone training commander says GTA players who have completed the infamous helicopter mission became one of their best FPV drone operators. Interesting. Ukrainian drone training units, We True Gun, have modified the GTA into an FPV drone trainer, letting operators practice with real drone controllers plugged into the game. Levitt on Epstein incident. We're moving on from that. No, we're not. Let's see here. Nearly 3 million acres of Americans' protected public lands has been gone with a stroke of a pen. No vote, no debate, no public consent. Trump just gutted the Bears' ears and Grand Staircase Escalante, slashing 90% of their monument protections in the largest land clawback in American history. Tribal lands, ancient canyons, and irreplaceable habitat now wide open for mining, drilling, and industrial exploration. Imagine that. Wow. New documents reveal the White House is planning to spend a total of $927 million on all of its White House construction projects. Almost $1 billion. When Trump switched planes at the NATO summit, he went in through switched through food truck into the plane that was carrying the Pete Hegsteff. But Hegsteff, not Hegsteff, but Rubio and somebody else, I forget who it was, stayed on the Air Force One plane. because of a threat of it being targeted. You know, EAM coming in. Kind of waiting on Charlie, folks. Well, this Super El Nino event, it is possible that no human in history has seen an event this strong, they're saying. Temperatures in the East Pacific are widely 5 to 6 degrees above normal. 6 degrees Celsius. Welcome to the GSM. I knew this was coming. Russia is refusing to allow representatives of the International Red Cross community to access Ukrainian prisoners of war. Professor Jing says the petrodollar collapse is now imminent. America has no way out. Today, the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve fell below 300 million barrels. First time since the early 80s. I'm going to let you all listen to this through my little helper. We're having EAM come in right now. I'm also going to let you listen to this. Okay, that EAM's really quiet, so we'll just go ahead. We know it's there.
The U.S. is pushing Japan toward a decision that could break its economy. US and Japan jointly intervened to support the yen, with Japan alone reportedly spending $88 billion. It temporarily pushed the yen from nearly 164 yen to 155 yen per dollar. But it has already weakened back to 159 yen and 40 sen. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent believes Japan must raise rates again. U.S. rates remain at 3.50% minus 3.75%, compared with Japan's 1%. This gap keeps the yen carry trade profitable and continues to weaken the currency. Takaichi has resisted rapid hikes over fears of hurting growth. The BOJ has already raised rates twice since she took office. But with imported inflation rising and 71% of voters unhappy with her response to living costs, another hike has become politically unavoidable. Markets now expect a possible hike in September or October. Japan has not raised rates 3 times within 12 months since 1989.
Well, there you have it. Now listen to this one. The petrodollar collapse is now imminent.
Professor Zhang says petrodollar collapse is now imminent and America has no way out. Today, the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve fell below 300 million barrels for first time since 1983. Trump himself admitted after Iran ceasefire deal, "We would have run out of oil reserves in about 4 weeks." The Strategic Petroleum Reserve is gone. Drained. Empty. The last barrels are being burned right now. And Iran just dropped the nuclear option. If the US doesn't leave the Middle East completely, every single barrel of oil will be forced to trade in Chinese yuan. The petro-yuan is ready. China and the BRICS are licking their lips. Once that switch flips, the petrodollar loses dominance forever and the dollar's reserve status collapses. Central banks are now on a massive streak of buying gold. Meanwhile, Japan's massive yen carry trade unwind is exploding right now. Scott Bessent's multiple yen interventions are failing. He has also warned the Fed to expand its FEMA repo facility to Japan or risk U.S. Treasury's sell-off. Trillions of leveraged positions are blowing up as the BOJ loses control. Liquidity is at stake from global markets at the exact same moment oil is about to be priced in yuan. While there is no other fiat currency capable to overthrow the dollar for the reserve status, the dollar has lost 97% of its value to gold till date.
You're listening.
Those involved described a project that was rushed and ill-considered from the start. Congress paved the way, removing government contracting guardrails. Meant to ensure taxpayer money isn't wasted, so that Ukraine-related defense projects could be funded quickly. The Army took advantage, handing General Dynamics lucrative no-bid awards without knowing whether the machines it planned to use could perform the desired work. The Army's due diligence But everything was not as fantastic as it appeared. Artillery shells displayed around the plant that day had been shipped in from elsewhere, 3 former workers told ProPublica. A worker picked one up and was startled to discover it was fake, seemingly made of plastic. General Dynamics had already failed to perform a scheduled first article test, meant to demonstrate the facility could produce shells that met the Army's specifications. The facility was supposed to start cranking out shells soon, but machines were barely functioning. Soon problems seemed to explode out of every corner, according to interviews with 12 former factory workers. For one thing, the flaming robot arms also kept smashing into things. They slammed into computer numerical control machines, breaking their windows and bending their doors. They knocked over shells. They bashed into safety fences. Workers talked about the arms going rogue and began calling one of them Johnny 5 inches after a sentient military robot from a 1980s movie. Even simple equipment failed with slapstick regularity, 6 workers said. Conveyor belts broke down. Automated carts got lost. Safety gates meant to shut down machines when workers approached did not shut down machines when workers approached. A pipe exploded, spraying water up to the ceiling. Parts on Repkin machines deformed, leading a worker to discover that they were made with Chinese steel, possibly in violation of federal regulations. The Army said it has no evidence. With so few shells passing inspection stations along the production line, many workers had nothing to do. A cat-and-mouse game ensued. Bored staffers spent endless hours gazing at their phones, leading supervisors to restrict phone use. So workers began bringing crossword books. Managers nixed those. Some workers were seen sleeping, so supervisors took away chairs. A Danish mechanized battalion has been
How long has my microphone been muted for? Yeah. Didn't know microphone was muted. Hang on just a minute. I'm getting somebody knocking on my door. Yeah, I did. I don't know how long my microphone was muted for. I am sitting here talking to nobody. Uh, how long has it been muted for, folks? I guess Hill Walker, and Smithy, especially Smithy's gone, and we're not using AI, Smithy. Got another EAM coming in. Kind of a weak EAMs. Ukraine has launched a major counteroffensive. U.S. military helicopter has crashed in Sandoval County, eastern Texas. 2 service members are confirmed as no longer with us. I'm feeling a little better today. Got some sleep last night. The doctor's got me on some new stuff and it's helping. But he can only prescribe this stuff for so long. I've got to be referred to somebody else to be able to keep on getting what I'm getting right now. Goodness. The Russians are now using FPV drones hunting Ukrainian firefighters while the Ukrainian firefighters are trying to put out fires. Folks, it's a war crime. I got a fly in the studio here, and it is about to torment me to death. 30,000 pounds of imported raw beef from Argentina has been recalled after failure to inspect following its arrival to the United States. This comes after the USDA's Food Safety Inspection Service lost 9% of its staff last year due to the Trump administration cuts. Do not buy the ground beef from Argentina. And in other words, don't buy the ground beef from a big box store. Go to your local butchers. Get it locally. It tastes totally different. Don't buy the pink slime from these big box stores. Just don't do it, folks. I'm still working on them, Grayfon. Yeah, I've about got everything I wanted to talked about now. The main reason why I came on live is because of what's going on in the Baltics. And I wanted to put a bunch more information together about this. And also, here's one I hear. British military leaders are increasingly concerned that a major escalation between the British Navy and Russia could occur around the North Sea and that channel due to potential misunderstanding because of lack of communications between the nation's militaries. But this Baltic area is getting ready to heat up. With that, I'm going to end the YouTube stream. You all need to move over here to the Rumble stream. I've got Jeff, Johnny, and Lee I want to show. They've done a good segment on this, and everyone needs to hear this. So here's this. Get that link right there and move over to Rumble. See you over there. We'll see you tomorrow over here on YouTube.